morning, Neil. Sean here. Nice to have your company today. And today I wanted to share a personal story with you, though one really that when you think about it is incredible because as I often say here on the show, you get to meet some wonderful people in my particular line of work. Sometimes you don't realize that you are in moments of history. Someone was showing me some pictures the other day about two former British prime ministers. And basically they were both at the TV studios that I work in. And both of them didn't want to meet on the corridor. And so one team was at one end, one was at the other, and I'm in the middle trying to engineer exactly when one could go out and the other remain. This is because all the press were outside, and a picture of these two ex-prime ministers together, particularly from rival parties, would have been gold dust for the media. You know what it's like. Interesting though to note softer stories that really have shaped my life, including meeting many screen legends, as I've told you before, being lucky enough to meet so many along the way. One that truly stuck out though was a lady who celebrated her 100th birthday yesterday. That's right, the screen legend that was none other than Ava Gardner. Now, Ava Gardner really is famous, of course, for being a splendid actress, an icon, a beauty of the golden age of Hollywood, and of course, possibly, more importantly, being married to the superstar singer Frank Sinatra. But it's a strange story of Ava's, really, because as I say, I was lucky enough to meet her quite a number of occasions. I was, shall we say, resting in the world of show business, and I was working as a waiter in a hotel in Knightsbridge, very, very early on in my career. And every day, this particular lady would turn up at the hotel. And they had these sort of chairs and tables outside. And she was always sort of dressed down, Nobody seemingly knew who she was. She looked familiar, but, you've got to remember, time has moved on. In sort of a grey tracksuit and things like that. Always had a small dog with her. I think it was a terrier type dog, Maltese or something like that. And she would just sit there having a cup of coffee, watching the world go by. And bit by bit, we nodded and smiled and would she like anything, but she didn't seem to want to engage in any conversation until one day. And that's when I discovered that this particular lady was, in fact, the very beautiful Ava Gardner. She lived round the corner in a flat, which has now got a blue plaque. That flat apparently was bought for her by her ex-husband, Frank Sinatra. And, she just told me about wonderful golden tales of Hollywood. Didn't like it much. She said she basically did it for what she called bank raids, money. She needed money. She wasn't rich. She said even at the very height of her fame, MGM didn't necessarily pay her the money that was raking in from the box office. But what's interesting to note is, she did sort of like what fame brought along with her. She loved matadors, she loved Spain, she loved the incredible showbiz lifestyle that it gave her. But I think what's interesting to know, when you meet somebody like that, you can have seen them on the screen, 20, 40 foot high, whatever, but then really we're all just simple people. We all like the same things. Part of the deal that she really enjoyed about being a movie star was the fact that she liked meeting fans. She was just stunned that someone so young would know so much about her career. Did I know, of course, later down the line that I would be chatting away and become friendly with first husband, Mickey Rooney, who told me a lot about her life. He always felt that she could have become a bigger icon, a bigger celebrated actress. But sadly, that wasn't Ava's goal. She liked the high life, drinking, smoking, partying, and not necessarily working in that order. I wanted to highlight this to you because it's wonderful, isn't it, when you see these things come up, on your timeline and you think, Ava Gardner, 100 years old. Sadly, she only made it to the early part of the 60s, her 60s, I might point out. But as she said, she had no regrets. She'd lived life to the full. And although she was very frail and ill at the time of us meeting, everything that you could possibly imagine an A-list superstar Hollywood icon to be. And I, for one, was incredibly lucky to spend just a short period of time for the woman that was known as the world's most beautiful woman, at least for a time in Hollywood. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.